Hello, and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode 507 at scavengerlife.com.
I'm going to make a promise today.
Yes. Nothing
in this podcast is going to be about the drama in our lives. No.
Why would we do that?
It's going to be purely, let's talk business, okay?
Biz.
The business of eBay.
Got it.
Because some interesting things have come to light. And the question is online selling becoming more professionalized? Or are we entering a new era of online selling? Is online selling becoming, the targets of regulations and taxes by the government, which then starts making it more professionalized because it adds barriers? Here's why.
Right.
Julie, who is a scavenger on our forum, who lives in Georgia, she was pointing out that in Georgia, I guess what do you call it, the state house or the Senate or something in Georgia is trying to pass a bill called House Bill 327. Okay. So anyone that can check it out. And basically what it wants to do is, if you're a seller on eBay or online that sells more than $5,000 of items in a year, they want you to have your personal contact info attached to every single item you have online. So that way, if I buy something, I know exactly who you are,
where you live,
and how to contact you.
And
she's like, that's problematic,
Well, what's funny is, it makes them seem like they're like, well, if you have a store, just put your store address and phone number. And you're like, most people just do it out of their houses.
And, we were talking about it with everyone on the forum. And I guess the justification is they're trying to take away the ability for people to sell stolen items online.
Right. To stay anonymous.
The thinking if you're anonymous, then you can steal someone's iPhone and sell it online without, having to. And someone was saying that the law appears to be targeted towards protecting large retailers and not consumers. That the large retailers are starting to point this out. I don't know if they feel like there's some kind of ring where people are stealing from a big box store and then selling it online. I don't know, but that's interesting because I feel like a lot of people would not like that. The second thing is Joe from California, SoCal Joe. He pointed out in this last federal congressional bill where all the money is now generated to help
the stimulus
COVID,
bill.
That there's a new law that was put in there for the IRS where if you make more than $600 selling online, those companies have to report you 1099 to the IRS.
Right.
So it seems like no longer is it the $20,000 where it seems like a lot of part-time sellers were kind of, some people would even say, I stop my sales when I know I'm getting close to 20,000 so I don't have to pay taxes on them, supposedly.
Let's just be clear. You are, in air quotes, required to report any income.
Right.
So it doesn't even matter if you don't get a 1099. You're supposed to report that.
Right. The only, it's not like you weren't supposed to pay taxes before. Then it's just now these companies are going to report you. It's just like when we do any kind of freelance work.
Right.
For any company, any money we make from them, they send the IRS a 1099 and they send us a 1099.
Yeah,
so it's just...
It doesn't matter if it's $500 or if it's $5,000.
That's why I say I feel like we're entering a new phase.
Right.
Of online selling. And this law might end up pushing more people back to flea markets.
Facebook Marketplace.
And boot sales. Yeah.
Car boot.
Boot.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about this. I was thinking about it. There are, in my mind, 3 stages of eBay.
Yeah.
The first stage I had not been a part of. It was 1996, 97?
Yeah, the very beginning.
To maybe
when it was called online auction.
To maybe 2010, So you were kind of a little bit
I was
dealing with you and your mom were selling on eBay
early,
right? Like when 2001?
98, 99,
okay.
like
Right.
early.
And people talk about it how it was like there was no, the internet, there weren't like a lot of places to go on the internet.
Yeah,
and people would talk about
funny.
finding actual garbage and listing it, and people would like bid
Crazy
it up.
auction.
And,
Getting actual cash in envelopes in the mail.
Right. And,
what?
And
that's crazy.
You as a seller could leave bad feedback for buyers and just
all kinds of
and
stuff.
I remember, I haven't heard it in a long time. I remember there were sellers that were really sad that eBay was no longer the cash cow that it was, that there's a lot more competition.
Right?
I hadn't been a part of that.
Yeah.
I started coming on in 2008.
Yeah.
Our glorious day of being in a thrift store. I pick up a
members only
jacket with our friends. We were like just thrift shopping, like.
Oh, I think we were alone. I think it was just you and I. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember.
Maybe the story's like growing.
I know.
I'm like, Ryan, someone might buy this on eBay as a joke, and you were like, I bet they would.
And then we kind of look around the store like, I bet they would buy a lot of this stuff.
And actually, our friend bought it on eBay because we had like tweeted about,
I think we tweeted. I don't know what we did.
Yeah, there were tweets back then.
And
that's all we needed. And then I was like, well, let's just
this is a
keep
thing.
Doing.
Yep.
Anyway, I feel like that was kind of starting that different kind of era.
Right.
It was kind of like the end. That was when eBay, all the pages were still old eBay.
Yeah.
Like, you can still find them now, and you always know when you're in old eBay, the fonts look different. It's just kind of organized different.
Yeah, it's just like a horrible HTML page.
But then I guess the second era is more like 2010, I guess.
When Best Offer came in.
Best Offer.
Stores, subscriptions.
And also
Buy It Now.
YouTube. That was a big one.
Yeah.
When a YouTube came on, and we were still on eBay, and then people started to post about things they were buying. People started posting about how they sold.
Yeah.
Retail arbitrage. It kind of became...
Amazon was starting to...
reselling. People were calling themselves retail arbitragers and resellers.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's been the thing up until now.
Right.
Kind of where people are still kind of home sellers, but people like us can make a living. It's a little bit still of the Wild West, but people are really, like business people, where people are paying taxes and doing write-offs, and people have...
You have official businesses and buildings.
People have storage. I mean, so...
It's like a real small business.
Right. But I feel like with these hints of changes, that I feel like it's going to become more and more professionalized, where to sell online, like on eBay or Amazon, like you actually have to be like super...
An established business.
Yeah. And I think some of this might be from the big box stores and other online, maybe Amazon, I don't know, where like they don't want to have to compete against small
They're
people.
trying to put barriers up.
I mean, obviously small sellers will continue to sell, like SoCal Joe was saying that it would probably push people back to flea markets and boot sales, or Craigslist, Facebook, just more kind of like casual, like in the gray area parts of selling.
Whereas on eBay, it could be gray up until a certain point for some people.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you really think? Yeah, that's interesting. So, I mean, do you think that's going to knock off a lot of competition on eBay?
I don't know. I mean,
the smaller sellers. Well, what does that mean for like Poshmark and stuff? Because I mean, I feel like all those little like clothing places, OfferUp, stuff like that. Like, are they going to have to give? I mean, those especially seem like yard sales to me, I
mean, obviously all these conversations are happening kind of without any of us involved. It's kind of like when there's all the rumblings about a sales tax.
Right, internet sales tax.
We were all worried, like, am I going to have to pay sales tax
to like 50 different states?
Some county in Oregon that I sold an item to of someone, and it turned out that eBay and the government had conversations and eBay just takes care of all that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Like, what's going to happen if, $600 is not a lot of money.
Right. Like, you can make that really quickly.
If you sell $2,000 worth and then eBay sends a 1099 to the government, like, what are you going to do? I guess you eat it. Like, what happens if people sell their own stuff?
Yeah.
For $2,000. Like,
right.
I mean, then they have to like write stuff off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know it is. I mean, especially, yeah, like you're saying, for the smaller sellers who only sell a little bit. Yeah, what's going to happen? Are people going to be okay with that? Or are they going to just jump ship?
If a law like the one in Georgia were to become widespread, where you have to actually put your contact info on every item.
That's so crazy.
I feel like that would scare off a lot of people because they don't, they don't want someone to know.
I don't want my home address. I mean, when I mail people things, it has my home address as the return address, so it's pretty easy to get that information. But although someone on the forum said that in the UK you are required to put that information anyway,
right?
Which is crazy.
I don't know. I mean, it's just change, I guess. It's just going to be interesting. I think maybe those of us that are already in it and established can change and, adjust as needed. I wonder if it's going to be more difficult for brand new people to come in on the scene. And I don't know. We will see.
We don't know. That's the theme of the day.
Okay, eBay, a couple things. Something else eBay talked about. My Cottage says, eBay is increasing feedback text.
Yeah, feedback characters. Right now it's only 80 characters. They're increasing it to 500 characters. That's crazy.
Is it crazy?
What?
I mean, I feel like it's kind of, so yeah. We all know when you go to your feedback, 80 characters is like
it's
one
very small.
Short phrase.
Very small.
Where someone's like, cool item, thanks. Great seller with like, little cakes or something.
Cakes.
I think the 500 characters gets more in line with the way Amazon is, or any
Amazon is like unlimited
online sales where people can give context. Like, I got the item, it was great, but it was packed poorly.
Yeah.
Seller was nice, I mean.
Does that mean we can respond with 500 characters? Okay, that's fine. That actually is helpful.
Yeah, I think it will be interesting just to see. I mean, the problem though, so I just gave the pro. The problem is I can see where, grumpy buyers will just use the 500 characters just to be extra grumpy. So, but in some ways I see that as kind of good because you're giving them more rope, because a lot of grumpy buyers just kind of are unhinged. Yeah. And so in 500 characters, hopefully they will seem unhinged.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I don't know if it makes any difference. Like you said, it's sort of like, is it that much different than, like Etsy? Etsy reviews and feedback are long.
Right.
And if you don't need to say anything else, it's just like, like my feedback for my on my buying account, I'm just always like, thanks.
Right.
Great product. Like, it's basically just to help the
I guess the difference is with Amazon is, I guess the reviews I'm always thinking of is a product.
It's a product review. So it's not like the seller.
Although, can you leave?
Yeah, you can leave feedback or you can leave stars or
for sellers,
I think you can leave both. I forget.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm like, I don't know. I don't think it really matters, honestly. Like, if someone's going to give you negative feedback, they're giving you it doesn't matter if it's 500 characters or not, you know?
Yeah.
So, is anyone going to read a 500 character feedback? Probably not.
Yeah.
But fine. Can they give us 500 characters for our title?
Ooh.
More than 80.
Then the other thing is that I think is going to affect us is United States Postal Service, has been in a little bit of a kind of everyone trying to figure out like what's going on.
Yeah.
Things are slow. Are things better now? Things still slow with
they're better. I don't think they're as fast as they used to be. I think there are still some things that are like getting hung up.
And everyone's just figuring out like what's going, like why it just seemed like everything seemed okay. I mean, were things good in the summertime?
In the summertime before the like holiday insanity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like when the early voting started is whenever.
Yeah, I mean, it was like November, December was a nightmare.
And then it's like...
I didn't see... I mean, I saw some delays, but not... And I saw international delays, but I didn't see like crazy December level insanity.
Right.
I think things are getting delivered much faster. I don't think it's up to total speed. Like, I will see things sit at our distribution center for longer. I'm like, why did that sit there for 3 days? Or Baltimore? Oh my God. I'm like, why is this just sitting in Baltimore for 5 days? Well, it's first class. So I think first class is just getting shoved down.
Got it. Well, I only bring it up because the Postmaster General of the United States Postal Service is DeJoy.
Yeah.
He was a President Trump nominee, and he's still the postmaster now. And he put out this report of how he wants to change the Postal Service. And one of those things is he wants first class to be 5 days.
Yeah.
Like, guaranteed 5 days.
No, it's not guaranteed. It's never guaranteed.
Or sorry, not guaranteed.
It's just like that's how long it takes.
Instead of 3 days, it would be 5 days. You know, just kind of like basically.
Oh, slow it down. Great.
Change and to raise prices.
Yeah, of course.
So we'll see. I mean, as long as he is in there, we'll see what kind of change happens.
Well, another thing that went wrong, if you go on the subreddit of USPS actual employees, they took away, there was also an article about this, and I think it was Greenville, South Carolina. They were like, yeah, they took away our sorting machines.
Right.
Well, stuff's going to slow down if you take away half the sorting machines.
Right.
You know, stuff like that where you're like, yeah, of course it's sitting in Greenville.
Yeah. The like more negative, pessimistic views of someone like him is that he is part of the drive to kill off the Postal Service and just get everyone to start to use private delivery, like FedEx, or
which is really expensive,
right? And I would not be surprised if that line of thinking would mean that they would try and maybe sell the Postal Service off, sell it off to a private company and just make it all private,
Well, and part of the losses where they're like, the post office posts losses every year.
Right.
Well, it's because they have to prepay their pension plan, like how many years? 50 years in advance. Who does that? Like it's nuts.
Yeah.
That was the first nail in the coffin was them having to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. It's people will keep buying things. It will just start to change how much it costs to ship things, and
it's already really expensive with the post office. So that's not helpful to buyers or sellers. Yeah, I think it should be cheaper, but I'm sure people would argue, you know how much it costs to ship something across the country? Like how much it costs the post office? So, I don't know. It's expensive.
Yeah.
And it sucks when buyers are like, I get so many messages. I'm sure everyone listening to this gets so many messages. Why does it cost $12? Even Jay does this when he's buying stuff. Is it really $12 to ship a 3-pound? Yes, it is. Like, this stuff is expensive. Yeah. It's just expensive.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think I fall into that where I'm just like, I'm just buying like an $8 item. Why is it costing $12 to ship it to?
Because it weighs this much. It's coming from California. It doesn't fit in a flat rate. You know, it's just like, yeah.
I don't know. Changes. Okay, let's talk about our numbers.
What was our number?
For this week, we sold 31 items. Our gross sales, $2,290.
Oh my gosh.
36 cents.
There's a reason.
Including fees, shipping, taxes. Our net sales, $1,725. Wow. When you check out all the fees. last week I mentioned like I felt like fees were really high. It was like 34% of our sales. I looked. There's like a little drop down.
Yeah.
They took out our subscription fee.
Oh, they take it
last week,
and
that was like a new thing that they were talking about. Where before it's like they were taking out final value fees and some shipping out of your sales,
and then you'd pay like on your credit card for your fees
on the invoice. And now they're trying to just basically, I guess, make the invoice.
It's just like Amazon.
Like it's not being invoiced.
Yeah. Why am I having an invoice? Just take it out.
We still have a bit of an invoice. I guess there's certain kinds of shipping that they don't take out. I don't know
like
if it's
FedEx and UPS probably.
Yeah. But since it's March 28th, April 1st, we're going to call and downgrade our subscription.
That's on Tuesday?
From the $299 Anchor store to the $69.
Oh my God.
$59 Premium store. Let me see. That would be April 1st is Thursday.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. I'm calculating my dates wrong.
But basically, supposedly, again, I don't know if I actually read this on eBay, but the word is between April 1st and April 30th.
Yeah, they're waiving.
You change over, they're waiving any cancellation fee. Yeah.
I think you can just, I mean, from what I was hearing, you can just do it and they won't give you a fee. Yeah. But I guess I have to call.
Well, for us personally, I'm not too worried about it because we only have one more month in our subscription before they re-up it. So even if we got hit, it would be minimal. It wouldn't be that much money.
Yeah, but still, you'd be saving so much more.
Okay, things we sold. So our highest price was a stuffed coyote.
Which I have yet to pack and ship. It's an actual stuffed coyote.
So we were asking $650.
I think I was asking more than that, but it was on sale.
We got $500. Or we went.
I mean, the second I saw that, I was like, yes.
I got this at the dump. Because we live in a rural area, we don't have trash pickup. So
somebody just had it.
I go to the dump and and someone like had pulled it aside and I was like, "Can I have that?" And they gave it to me.
Yeah, it was like, "Can I have that stuffed coyote?"
And it's interesting, we were talking about this on the forum with other items. When we did research. People sell these things like, it's cool, like it's a taxidermy.
Taxidermy.
Like, it's a lot of work. It was in good shape. It was mounted. If you're into that kind of thing, it's a cool thing in your house.
Yeah.
They sell for $200 all day.
Yeah, sure.
We probably could have gotten $200 right away. But it was so cool. It was in like a growling position.
He's like, he's howling. He's howling.
And so... I just thought, and it's in great shape.
It's in really good shape.
We put at the highest price that we felt
and
like
I sat on it for a long time.
And we've probably had it for
a year and a half. Yeah.
So, I don't know. Is that good to wait? Is it not good to wait? For us, it's fine.
I'm like, I'll take $500.
Yeah. List and forget.
Now, I got to ship it. It's over... I think it's oversized for the post office. The best price I could get, this guy's in Las Vegas. It's got to go across the country. The best price I could get was a little under $200 UPS ground. He didn't want to pay it. This is what's so funny, right? You're like, this thing is large. It's bulky. It weighs, I don't know, it's got to be at least 30-ish pounds, maybe a little under. And he's like, $200. I'm like... I said, look, I have never seen a price that low, for something this bulky going across the country. Or I said, or you can go on uship.com and get a quote from a freight shipper, which who knows how much that's going to be.
Now, is that $200 going to help pay for some of your time?
Yes, I do have a handling fee. I think I have I forget how much. $25 handling fee. Yep. So the postage might be a little bit lower than that.
How are you going to ship it?
So I think what I'm going to... So he is in a growling position, so his head is up. I'm going to wrap. He's pretty solid though. Like whatever the taxidermy, they stuff it with like something really solid.
And put like a wire in it.
Yeah, like he's a solid piece. So I'm going to wrap his head in like this thick like bubble wrap. And then I'm probably going to put cardboard around his head. And then I'm going to because we've been buying a lot of stuff for the cafe, I have a ton of like styrofoam panels. So I think I'm going to like do styrofoam panels all around him.
Right. To kind of keep the box from crushing.
Right. Yeah. Like so that he has kind of a solid like padded around him, and then either build a box. I'll probably have to build a box through 2 different boxes, or find a box in the back that's big enough. And then UPS, drop it off at my UPS ground.
Yep.
And hope for the best.
And then other than that, we're just selling, again, a lot of little weird
stuff.
I know you were putting stuff on eBay this week.
I was listing. Look, I'm really...
And you were like...
really behind.
You were doing research on just these little weird knickknacks and just like, wow, this thing sells for a lot of money.
Well,
like,
it's funny. Yeah, it's funny when you find something that you're like, this doesn't look like anything. You know, it just looks like, we were talking last week, brass candlesticks, you know. But then you find one that you're like, oh, this is actually a really nice one. This one's worth like $200 if you find the right buyer. So I love that stuff.
And that's the thing. It's all about research.
Yeah.
And patience. Those two things.
Patience is,
like, you have to have patience in some cases too, just because if it's not something that people buy all the time, you just have to wait for the right person. Like the guy in Vegas that decides he wants like
a coyote for $500.
Yeah, why not? It's a good deal, I think. You know,
I mean, it's a really unique piece. So I wonder. It's funny. I was listing a canoe muffin mid-century modern spoon this morning. 1 spoon. And
anyone that hasn't heard that, Google that.
Canoe muffin.
It's like the weirdest term.
Yeah, but if you look on eBay, it's a mid-century modern flatware set. Different types, different brands, but and it's so funny because I was thinking like, what must my 16-year-old helper think when I'm like, you need to take a picture of this 1 spoon and show the marking. Right. It's just like, he must be like, you are insane. But I'm like, do you know how much I listed that for $40. Yeah, it's 1 spoon. But it's like, it's black. Yeah. Normally they're brown. And it's a large, like, serving spoon. And it's gorgeous.
Right. And they don't make them anymore.
He's like, he probably goes home to his parents, who we're friends with, and just be like, I don't know. I just don't know.
His mom probably knows.
His mom probably knows. Well, his dad's a scavenger, too. Yeah. But it's just funny.
Yep.
I just laugh thinking of what he must think.
So, Scavenge of the Week. So, our Scavenge of the Week is basically eating into our death piles.
We do have death piles.
So, in our storage building, we have probably 600 square feet of boxes stacked 6 feet high of unlisted inventory. Some of that is stuff we bought at auctions this past year, and some of it is stuff that people have given us.
We had 2 different people. One was my mom. Yeah. Another was a fellow scavenger who gave us their inventory. Yeah.
Now, I will say a lot of it is clothes. So it sounds like we're back in the clothing business.
Good clothes, though.
Yeah.
Like clothes that I'm like, I'll sell this.
So, I mean, I have auctions that I look at every week.
Yeah.
Just to kind of keep an eye out. Like,
I saw you looking at an auction. I was like, you better be careful.
I'm like, maybe I'll buy some. And then like,
we have so much stuff.
I mean,
like so I'm going through the last 2 boxes from our summertime auction buying. I have not even eaten into any inventory we've been given. Right. So,
I mean, we probably have a year of inventory to go through.
Which is fine.
Yeah. And I do notice too, because I do keep an eye on how auctions end. Okay.
The prices.
It is just unbelievable how much people are paying for table lots and for individual items. Like, I don't see how people are getting good profit if they're reselling this stuff. And so I don't know if it's resellers who are just really hungry, or if it's because people are at home. And maybe because they're getting stimulus checks, it's collectors and people buying stuff for themselves who are just, finding the online selling world where normally this would just be all resellers, and now the collectors are buying where we buy anyway.
I mean, do you think it's that, or do you think... Okay, so here's another theory that I was talking to someone earlier today about real estate and flips and vacation rentals, and she was like, oh, I think it's because people just watch HGTV. And that idea of people being like, I could do that. I wonder if it's a similar thing where people are like, well, the pandemic happened and I have to work from home and or I lost my job. I'll just do this. You know what I mean?
I think it goes back to my second stage of eBay.
Yeah.
Was the rise of like online tutorials.
Yeah.
And haul videos.
Right.
You know,
gurus.
There are people who, I mean, even us. I mean, we publish like this talk about selling stuff online. You know, it's just like there's this open conversation that you can do this. People are hearing about it, and then more people.
And then they're buying stuff a table lot on auction. But I wonder if it's like just like flipping houses that people do it, and they're like, oh, this is a lot harder than I thought.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you see. I think we cite this as an example often where you go to an auction and you see a young couple with like a baby and they have a box truck and they fill it up, and then you're like, we're probably never going to see them again. Because they're just like, what was I thinking? Or they're really successful. I mean, it's one or the other, but
I mean, it's, you know, it's all about the approach. I think that as more of us are selling online, you know, the competition rises as far as prices and finding good items, and you have to be more tolerant of price of just, you know, things don't always sell for as much as you want. Things take more time than you want. It, you know, the processes need to really be. Your processes really need to be like airtight. Yeah. Because if there are holes in your processes. Yeah. Things fall apart real fast.
You also have to have the flexibility of selling other things if you need to. You know, if those things on the table lot is what people are getting, you're like, well, maybe I'm looking at something else. Yeah. You know, I don't
know. Okay, customer issues. We had none. It was good. We did have...
What?
We did have a good number of buyers. I mean, and when I say a good number, I'd say like 4 out of the 31 items we bought. We got messages from people being like, will you please pack this well? The last thing I bought came broken, cracked, damaged. Yeah. You know, and these are collectors, so people buying like very unique items.
They're like, I can't find this again.
So it's, you know, if it breaks, you're kind of like...
It's not like Amazon. Send me a new one.
Good luck finding it again. And so I don't know if it's a postal service problem or people aren't packing it well. But
I mean, my stuff breaks too sometimes.
How do you handle those emails?
So yeah, there were actually, you're right. There were like 4 people that were like, can you just make sure this is packed well?
You know, and people get very specific.
I know they get...
Double box it.
Right.
Pat it out.
There was one guy in Europe, he bought a horse figurine that is porcelain, and he said the same thing, right? Like, I tried to buy these before. Yeah.
Cover the head.
Well, he said, put styrofoam between the legs, which I actually did. I was like, that's actually a good idea, like a styrofoam, like, chunk. And I think people don't double box. I think that's just something people don't think to do. And it's like my first go-to. It's like, pat it, box, pad the box. Pretty much, you know, it's going to be okay. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a learning thing. Look, my stuff breaks too. You know, it's not like, even when you double box, sometimes stuff breaks. It can, and it has. But if you can prevent it as much as possible, you got to try. Yeah, so I had a couple of people ask for that, but
because even if we do have insurance and people will be made whole,
it's still
not great.
You know, especially if you're, you know, like we are selling porcelain tea sets and things like that. You're like, they might not be able to get a replacement one. Like, the one saucer cracked, and you're like, you know. Although eBay is a great place to find those things anyway. But yeah, that mostly was our customer issues. Or people, again, and we experience this all the time, and anyone listening to this experiences this. Someone will buy something, you take an offer, great offer, get that thing off the shelf. Oh, I didn't realize how big this was.
Yeah.
You're like, I had the size in the title. I had a picture of a soup can next to it, and I had the size in all parts that I could, and they still want to cancel.
Yeah, I don't even talk about that anymore because
it happens.
I just get a sense of just like every week we get a couple items that get bid on, don't get paid for, and it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the calls that people sent in this week.
Okay, you can call our voicemail line. The phone number is 540-407-8486, or you can email us an audio file from your phone. Our email is thescavengerlife@gmail.com.
Hi, guys. It's Keith from Vintage Classic Store here in Massachusetts. Hey, I was wondering, I'm getting essentially what is a 2-car garage built, and it's going to be a 20 by 20. And I'm going to be shelving it all out. I have the shelves on order. That's going to be my eBay storage. I have, it's my part-time job, but I have a little over 7,000 items. I have a part-time employee, and I'm trying to ramp up a little bit here in the coming years. But I'm wondering, should I be concerned with putting paper goods out there and clothing if everything's in those black and yellow heavy-duty totes from Home Depot? Hopefully that with the wetness, hot, and the weather changes here in New England, I'm hoping that it doesn't cause any mold concerns or anything like that. The other thing is that the garage is not going to be insulated at all. So, but yeah, just wondering what your thoughts are. I've kind of Googled it for a while without any some clear answers on that. All right, thanks.
If you are worried about the climate, then it's probably something that you do need to be worried about. I know up in the Northeast, it gets very humid, like it does here in Virginia. We have 2 kinds of storage. We just have like a big metal building with no climate control, and that's where we just keep all of our hard goods that might have been found in a barn, so it doesn't really matter. Then we have another storage where it's insulated, and we have a dehumidifier, so we can better control the climate. But it's always a fight because you want to be really careful, and that's where all of our clothes are, shoes, and paper goods, shoes.
Yep.
So I don't know. I guess you just have to kind of keep an eye on that. It's just the thing with like mold or any of that stuff is like once it kind of starts,
it's hard to get rid of.
It's a living thing that's happening.
Now, I will say I do have some books and paper goods out in the back building, but we put them in bins with lids, and we put them in Ziploc bags.
Right.
So I've found that is really helpful to put them in storage like that. But anything fabric, we try to keep in the dehumidifier.
I guess you just want to kind of keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
And if this garage is not going to hold cars,
which it won't,
which probably will not hold cars, maybe you do put a dehumidifier in there.
That's true. That's not a bad idea. I don't know. I mean, if it's not insulated and it doesn't have heat or AC, because if it's sealed enough, most garages are sealed, you could put a dehumidifier out there. That would help for the summers.
Yeah, I don't know. You just want to be careful. Just that, again, like once mold and stuff starts, it can be hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
Hi, Jay. Hi, Ryan. This is Laura at Dream Deals 123, and I just wanted to ask you guys what you think about this container ship fiasco. Do you think that this is going to affect eBay sales? I think it will, depending on how long this takes. But I've been following it in the news, and they say there's already, all these delays of equipment and everything because of COVID this year, and that this is just going to compound it. What are your thoughts? My thoughts are, too, here we are again, the eBayers, the resellers, the scavengers. We're there for the world when ship happens. We're there for you.
I mean, we obviously have no idea on how this will affect eBay. I mean, I don't think it will affect anything any of us do at all because none of my stuff gets shipped through the Suez Canal. This is more of an Amazon, like you're buying, some dog carrier from China. I mean, that's
look. This is how I think it will affect us, and I've already started to do this myself. Where because of COVID delays on certain things like Home Depot or whatever, like we're waiting for a set of doors for the cafe. We've been waiting for months. We're like, we might never get these. What's our alternative? Well, I started looking on Craigslist instead.
Right.
I started looking on Facebook Marketplace and eBay instead. So the only thing that I can think of is that, and we've seen this with the pandemic, that people say, oh, I can't get this new. Where can I scavenge this from? Which you would hope people do anyway, but most people don't. I think what's going to happen, though, is because everything's delayed, we're not going to see the delays for... The delay will be delayed. In a few months, we're going to be like, oh, we can't get that because it took so long to get this other stuff. As
far as our business, it doesn't affect our business because we ship just inside of our country.
Right.
So,
I hope that people are like, well, maybe I'll look for it used. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is interesting this whole year and a half with COVID and this and things like that. It's just, it just shows what an interconnected world it is. Very small world.
Yeah.
One thing happens, it affects in this country, affects everybody else. I mean, we're so tightly connected, which just means I just feel like we need to work better with each other,
Well, and also like we talk about, this whole thing with the Suez Canal and the pandemic is this whole like global supply chain. And you're like, that's even more reason to get stuff used and to get stuff local if you can, right. I need a door. Well, maybe somebody has it around here that doesn't need it anymore, and we always say that anyway, but I don't know. I just feel like it's like with clothing, people are like, there's so much used clothing now that like it's so cheap to get clothes for yourself at thrift stores. Why would you even go to a new store now, right. And that's so interesting.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe we'll start seeing the rise of more people making things locally again.
No, that's interesting.
Okay, that is it for today on this podcast. Not much coffee news. Just if you do want to support us, you can buy some of our freshly roasted coffee.
Very fresh. We are roasting tomorrow.
Yep, at broadporchcoffee.com.
I will be roasting. I'll be sitting by that roaster.
And I'm the bagger.
Jay's bagging. He's stamping the date.
Yep.
Getting it to the post office by 4:30.
Yep.
So order early.
That's right. We are a local producer, so just...
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, this podcast is ending in 3, 2, 1.
Bye.